What's going on, my friends? Kurt Tatchy here, and welcome to day 2 of our 62-day video challenge. Now, for the next several videos, I'm going to be doing a series or different series on various speakers and experts within the network marketing and self-development industries. And I'll be doing about 10 videos or so per expert. And today, I'm going to start my series on Tim Sales. Now, Tim is one of the most sought experts within the network marketing industry. He's up there on par with people like Danny Johnson, Robert G. Allen, Eric Worre, and others. In fact, I was actually, a few years ago, was getting ready to join a health and wellness company that Tim was a part of. But the other day I was watching a video with Tim Sales on a talk he did where people were saying how hard MLM is, and he was doing a talk on how MLM is not hard. And he was making some comparisons between what MLM is and what he does in this, and to what he did when he was in the Navy, and also doing EOD and working with the which is explosive ordnance disposal, and also doing running cases with the DEA as well. Now, one thing that he did say that made a lot of sense is that when he's working with the DEA, he noticed that there was no bulletin boards on the street that said, "Get the best cocaine here," or "Get your crack here." You know, it was all word of mouth advertising. And did you know that the illegal drug industry makes more money than legal pharmaceuticals and oil combined? Even with all the high advertising budgets that the oil companies and pharmaceutical companies have, illegal drugs make more money simply by word of mouth. So it goes to show you how powerful word of mouth advertising is. And what is network marketing? Well, it's word of mouth marketing. Okay, so it shows you how powerful it is. But when Tim first got into the industry, he talked to his sponsor and he wanted to really know exactly what to expect. So his sponsor laid out a few things for him. So Tim wanted to know, what can I expect from people? And his sponsor said, well, one thing you can expect is you might get rejected. And Tim said, well, what's that? He said, well, rejected is when people just say no. And Tim said, okay, fine. He said, well, what happens when I'm rejected? And his sponsor said, you just go get somebody else. He said, okay, fine. And he said, well, what's next? He said, well, you might be deceived. People will deceive you. And he said, well, what's that? Well, you'll ask people to do something, they'll see they're going to do something, and they don't do it. So, for example, maybe you invite someone to a home presentation, or you send them a link to your online presentation, and they don't show up. Okay? And he asked the sponsor, well, what happens then? And the sponsor said, well, just go get somebody else. Okay, fine. What's next? He said, well, you're experiencing attrition. He said, what's attrition? Well, attrition was when people say they're going to do something and they just quit. And we've all experienced that within our careers, I'm sure. And so he asked the sponsor, well, what do you do when people quit? Well, you just go get somebody else. Okay, fine. And then he said, what's next? And the last thing is, he says, you're going to get disrespected. And he said, well, what do you mean? Well, disrespect is when they're going to say it's a scam, that's a pyramid, they're going to make fun of you, call you stupid. And a lot of times it's got to be people that you love and care about that think they're helping you. And he said, okay, fine, well, what happens then? You just go get somebody else. And he compared that to his life doing EOD. And with MLM, when we know about rejection, deception, attrition, disrespect, we all know what those are. And he thought, well, it's kind of the same thing when he was in the military and also doing EOD for the DEA. He said, it's the same thing. He said, rejection when he's doing EOD, rejection is when a bomb would blow up in his face. Deception is when the enemy would plant booby traps in his area. Attrition is when his whole team would die and he'd have to finish the mission on his own. And disrespect is when someone's shooting at him. Okay, so it was a comparison he made between network marketing and what he experienced in the military. Now, when he got into the industry and he started working it, he had one of his downline come up to him and say, "Man, this is just so hard." And he thought, "Wait a minute, how is this hard?" And he went on to tell a story about how at one time he was doing reconnaissance and had to stand in a hole that he dug that was 6'4" with a little periscope looking out, and had to sit in that hole for several weeks, and anything he did in that hole he had to live in for those several weeks. And we're talking going to the bathroom, whatever you had to eat, whatever, that was it. And comparing that and the risk of blowing himself, getting blown up, to network marketing, he made a statement and said that if you should be ashamed of yourself if you think network marketing is hard. Okay, this is what he does. He said he sits in his desk, adjustable chair, and calls leads, and recruits people. So, and he's like, well, how hard is that? You compare that to, not just compare it to, say, disarming bombs, but even with, like, whatever job you may have, if you're working a job right now, whatever job you have right now is a heck of a lot harder than network marketing. Okay, MLM is not hard. Okay, it's just you got to get over that fear of doing it, and get over the fear of what needs to be done. Okay, you got to experience rejection. You got to get deceived. You got to experience attrition. Okay, people are gonna make fun of you, disrespect you. Okay, but you have to just keep pushing and pushing forward through it. Okay, forget what all the naysayers are saying. Just keep on going. Okay, and you will succeed. You will get to that point where you're gonna look back and say, "Wow, I am glad I listened to people and kept on going." So, guys, this is Kurt Tash. I hope you enjoyed today's video on Tim Sales and why MLM is not hard. I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow on Tim Sales as well, so stay tuned. And after the Tim Sales series, I'm not really sure who I'm going to talk about next, but keep looking forward to, or keep watching out for my videos in the 60-day challenge. And I look forward to talking with you soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.